A solution to the Israel-Palestine problem. Oh, that's easy. Really? MUDAR ZAHRAN is a Palestinian writer and academic from Jordan who now resides in the UK as a political refugee. He joins us now from London. Welcome to you, sir.
How are you doing, sir? Thank you.
Now, a solution to this issue that seems to divide the world and causes so many problems. Give it to us, please. We're eager to hear.
Well, it's always been there. I mean, it's nothing new, sir. I mean, it's always been there. Jordan has always been the homeland for the Palestinians. This was the agreement. Very few people understand the history of the problem. Very few people understand that it was originally the Balfour Declaration that all of the British mandate to Palestine would become a Jewish homeland. Then the Jews decided to agree to give 78% of the land to the Palestinian or the Arab dwellers of the country, and that's Jordan. Jordan has always been Palestine. The only thing that's not Palestinian in Jordan is the king. If that falls to the Arab Spring, voila, we have a Palestinian state.
But you know better than I do that even if the royal family did fall in Jordan, and it has many supporters, the Palestinian people would not be satisfied with Jordan. They would still want areas of Israel.
Well, the fundamentalist of us, you know, all nations have fundamentalists. And our fundamentalists, they've always wanted all of Palestine, and now they've grown into, the last 15 years, into wanting to build subscribing into building an empire, a Muslim empire, a caliphate, if I may say. Now, we will not be held hostage to all of those. Now, let's just check the facts. Most of Palestinians reside in Jordan, more than 80% of the population. Yeah. 1.1 million Palestinians are residing in Jordan illegally. If those were so desperate to be in Palestine, quote unquote, shouldn't they be going back to Israel and living there? There's an average of 30,000 Palestinians locating permanently to Jordan each and every year. So all of the signs do not suggest that the Palestinians are so desperate to be in Israel.
It sounds, look, I've heard this many times over the years, but generally I have to say it does come from people who are strongly supporters of Israel, very Zionistic. To come from a Palestinian from Jordan, this is quite surprising to me. How are you regarded by other people in the Palestinian movement?
Well, you can always Google my name in Arabic and English. I mean, I'm very well accepted within the Palestinians. I have been on all Arab networks advocating Palestinians' rights in Jordan. People have had enough. People speak little. The propaganda that the king and his people have been put on is, oh, the Palestinians want to have all of Palestine back, or the West Bank, or Judea and Samaria back. This is not true, and the evidence is there that it's not the case. Most Palestinians have come to learn in 40 years that our problem is the Hashemite, not the Israelis. I'll give you one little example. In the last, the Jordanian government media, whether accomplished with the Jordanian government or not, I don't know, but the government-controlled Jordanian media called for a protest against the Israeli embassy a few months ago. And I went out on YouTube and other places telling people not to go. And eventually, the Washington Post reported less than 200 people showed up. I'm not going to be sitting here trying to advocate myself as a hero of the Palestinian. All I'm telling you is I am not an isolated case. Most Palestinians in Jordan, most Palestinians in the world have had enough now. And just one good example of how the Palestinian ideology has changed. One quick example is a poll that shows 70% of Palestinians in Jerusalem would rather for the Israeli rule of Jerusalem to stay. People are people. People would like to live normally, celebrate, and not suffer and be treated as subhumans by the king or anyone else. By the way, same goes for the Jordanian Bedouins. They are oppressed by the king, and they too have been speaking to me, telling me, we don't mind if the Palestinians rule, as long as we live normally.
Well, let me push on that, because I know Jordan a little, and I know Palestinians who will say they've been treated better by Israelis at checkpoints than they are by Jordanian, by Bedouin. There's quite a bit of hostility. Palestinians may be a large number in Jordan, but they have little positions of influence, particularly within the military and intelligence services. The royal family has a tight control, and it is the family. The family have a tight control over that country.
Not anymore, sir. The media, Jordan now is a sideshow comparing to Syria, to Egypt, and other places. So it's very hard, very difficult to get CNN or anyone else, or even Al Jazeera, for that matter, to get interested in what's going on in Jordan. Things have changed. The Bedouins in the south, just last week, some of them my personal friends, the leaders of the Bedouin opposition, have been protesting against the king and calling for the king's, toppling the king through peaceful means. This is unprecedented. The king is fragile. The king is shaky. He's lost his grip. He's nowhere close to his father, either in charisma or in ideology or in knowledge of the region.
True.
The Jordanian regime is a sinking ship. It's no longer a Boeing 747. It's a glider. Very few people will believe that at the moment, but things will come to surface as quickly as the regime in Syria falls. The flu is going to catch up in Jordan very quickly, and then people will probably be thinking otherwise.
And just very briefly, if this did ever happen, would Saudi Arabia allow this? I mean, Saudi Arabia is a big power there, just next door to the south. Would they allow Jordan to become a Palestinian state?
Saudi Arabia, it's in its best interest to cooperate with whoever rules the largest bloc in the northern border, be it the Palestinians, the Hashemite, or aliens from Mars. They're going to take them. But until that happens, it's obvious that the Saudis are more on the conservative side. For example, they obviously were not for the top... Yeah.
Forgive me, I have to stop you there. We'll have you back. This is fascinating. Thank you so very much indeed. I appreciate that.
Thank you.